Welcome back to 52 Weeks of Gaming. As always, I'm just going to pass it off to Nick because he's going to be able to tell you more about what we're doing this week. So, without further ado, take it away, Nick. Alright, so this week is a bit interesting because I'm hopping away from my Xbox for a bit and actually going over to my Nintendo Switch because I've been watching a lot of the Professor Oak challenges online, and so I'm playing some Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, which is a game I have yet to play, even though I love the Pokemon series. So I know a bit about what the game's about, but not having played it really makes me want to play it now, and that's what I'm going to do. So check back in at the end of the week to see just how many Pokemon I catch, and if I really do catch them all. Stay tuned. So this week we're actually doing a bit of a mix-up and hopping over to the Nintendo Switch to talk about Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. Now, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee is, at this time, the latest game that is out for Pokemon series, soon to be the Sword and Shield games, but for right now, this is going to be the latest games. It takes place back in Kanto, where Gen 1 took place, so you're only dealing with essentially the first 151 Pokemon in the game. It's going to have either Eevee or in the Let's Go Pikachu, you're going to deal with Pikachu as the starter, and the best way to go and summarize the games is that it's almost a modern retelling of Pokemon Yellow. You're still getting the different Pokemon throughout the game, and you're having one specific Pokemon follow you as opposed to having the traditionally Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle as your starter. It's got improved graphics, and the one big change is the Pokemon appearing in the overworld, which has been a change from just randomly in the grass, and it's kind of this new sort of art style to go along with it. People have been talking about how it's a nice throwback and a nice re-release for the Switch, but there's been some criticisms at the same time where people have been saying that Game Freak has been focusing on Gen 1 way too much, putting way too much focus on it, and so it's kind of been a mixed bag on what to go and do, as well as the fact that the game goes away from traditional ways of catching Pokemon and instead uses Pokemon Go's mechanics of catching and incorporates and that does incorporate into the game as well. But I'm going to let Nick talk a bit more about the game because he has some very specific things I'm sure he wants to talk about with this one. So, Nick? Okay, so this week is Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, which is one half of the Switch games that were out, with the other one being the Let's Go Pikachu game. And like all previous Pokemon games, there's the two versions, which means you have version exclusives. But outside of that and the fact that it takes place in Kanto region, which is Gen 1, so you have your first 8 badges as you did like in 1996 when Red, Green, and Blue came out, that it's a bit different. It's really cool how they did the animation for it, and the art style has really brought it up and kind of made it unique. And the whole Pokemon appearing in the overworld thing that happens is really cool, because it used to just be that you would be hoping to go and see something in the grass and you'd just be wandering around forever and hoping something would pop up, and there still is that rarity factor of something going and popping up. Like, for example, each route you have the chance of a Chansey popping up, but it's super rare, so when one does pop up, that it is kind of this really cool thing that you can go and see happen, and it makes you a bit more excited for it because it happens, and it's something that I really enjoy, the fact that it's there, and all the sizes are kind of accurately represented, so things like an Onix is going to be much bigger than a Rattata is, and a Bellsprout is, and so it makes it that much cooler and more immersive, and it really took me back to when I was younger and going and playing these games, and really how I felt then. And another mechanic that they went and added is, because they did basically a big tie-in with Pokemon Go on the mobile devices, so the way you go and catch Pokemon in this is very similar to how you catch Pokemon on Pokemon Go. So you're going and having to kind of flick your wrist and throw the ball, and you use berries to go and catch things, and you can have some Pokemon that'll have like a red aura around them to show they're huge, and a blue aura means they're tiny, but badges and battles and those sorts of things are the same as what they normally are, so you still go and get moves. But again, because of this different mechanic for catching, it's a bit flipped from how it normally is in terms of experience that you're going getting for Pokemon, because now wild battles give you more experience based on the different bonuses that you can go and get than a battle would go and get you regularly. So there's some mechanics there that are a bit different, and it makes it unique in its own little way. And having only the first technically 153, so it's 151 Bulbasaur to Mew, but then they also introduced, to tie into Pokemon Go, 2 Pokemon called Meltan and Melmetal. And so the way that that's typically gotten, besides the event that happened in Pokemon Go, is if you move a Pokemon from Pokemon Go, every few days you get what's called a mystery box onto your Pokemon Go account. You open it, and for half an hour, Meltan it spawns, and in the game it takes 400 candies to evolve it, and that's the only way to get Melmetal over. And so you could, although it's technically not from the Kanto region, it is still something that is in the game and really unique. They also put in the Alolan version of some of the Pokemon that pop up, like Diglett, Geodude, Marowak, Raichu, Meowth, and Sandshrew. And so you have these, Grimer, for example, Vulpix. So you have these different versions that you can go and do trades for. So you can't find them naturally in the game, but if you have the regular version, so like in the Eevee, I had a regular Vulpix, but if I went and took it someplace, they'd be like, hey, I have an Alolan Vulpix, which is an ice type. And so you can go and trade them and kind of make it more unique. And one of the trial captains from Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, Mina, appears, although a bit younger, but that might be based on the art style. And it's something that I wasn't sure if I was going to go and play originally when it came out, to be honest. But I've been following online these different kind of runs. People are doing different Nuzlocke runs, and so I'm watching some people do this show to go and, it's called Cutthroat Pokemon. And so there's this Nuzlocke run, and then there's Professor Oak challenges. So I was watching this video of the person doing how fast they can go and complete the Professor Oak challenge and different things. And someone did a Nuzlocke challenge I watched in the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee series. And it was just really, really cool to see how people are taking a game and putting a different spin on it and putting this challenge on it that's not something that's normal. And so I would say that it's something that I might go and do with this, is at the end of it, because of Pokemon Go and being able to go and move some over, the only Pokemon that I'm missing in the game outside of Melmetal, because of the candies required for it, is Mew. And that's because in the Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee games, you need to have the Pokeball Plus in order to go and get a Mew, and that comes with it. And that's the only one that I'm missing. But everything else is really accessible and really easy, and it's a fun game for anyone who's really enjoyed Pokemon growing up and really enjoyed Gen 1, and it brought back that nostalgia to me, and I really enjoyed it. I think it's something that was a lot of fun to play, and I see it as something that I could potentially go and do other things in and still really go and enjoy it, which I enjoy. So yeah, as a fan of the series, it's just another one that I was happy to go and play. So who would want to go and play a game like this? Who would you say? I think anyone who likes the Pokemon series would really be the main people to go and play it. People with the Switch as well. It's a good game to go and get people into the series, because if they've played Pokemon Go and they have a Switch, this kind of builds upon that with the first 151, and kind of you can introduce them to the series and different things like that. So I think it's something that is really for, do you think you're going to keep playing this game in the future? Or is it something that you're considering almost like a one-off sort of thing for people who like the series itself? So that's who I would say to go and play it. As I said, I think I might do like the Professor Oak challenge, which does require a lot of grinding for it. It's as many Pokemon as you can before each gym, so you have to catch every Pokemon that's available and evolve it to its full form to fill up the Pokédex as much as you can before each gym badge. And so it kind of involves you getting creative and making sure you know what items you can go and get in different locations and wait for things. And so it is something that would require a lot of time, but it is something that I would think would be very interesting, and I might go and do it.